What's going on, Browns fans? How we doing, guys? Welcome into the live Cleveland Browns Report. Matthew Peterson here, chopping it up with you guys on a Thursday in January where things are starting to calm down a little bit in the Browns news and rumors sphere of things. They got their DC, Jim Schwartz. We'll talk about that, what that means for Myles Garrett as the face of the defense. Plus, we have some ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous, trade rumors to get to on today's show. I'm really excited, though, for the middle portion of the show, which is all about a perfect offseason for the Browns. I engineered what I think would be the 5 best step plan for the Browns to get an A-plus offseason grade from me. So with that, we also have a mailbag. Get those questions in, yada, 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 all that good stuff. While we let the audience build up, I want to ask you guys this question here. Give me one upset for this weekend. I just want one upset. We got 4 games, 8 teams. I don't think we're going to get chalk, right? We're going to get some upset. I don't think it'll be the Jags. I think the Jags will cover against the Chiefs. Could the Giants knock off? Like, if the Giants are going to beat a team, it's going to be a team like the Eagles where they're coming off rest and the Giants are just a gritty, hard-nosed football team. Patrick Seaman's Vikings know all too well, but the Giants also kind of stink, right? They're not very good. So I don't know. I got to find one upset. Someone help me out. Scorpion with a super chat. I love it, Scorpion. Let's get the party started, my man. Good to see you in the chat early and often. Jersey Dog, Polo, Petey, what's going on, everyone? Jersey Dog thinks Giants over the Eagles. I don't mind that. I'm thinking here of what about on Sunday slate? We okay? Is the YouTube connected? Is it under stream? Clicked on the Browns watch party. The Browns, you know what I'm talking about? Then you gotta click on that. I don't know what to do for that one. Go ask Sam. That one I don't know. Scorpion, we'll get your super chat on screen in just a moment. We're streaming on YouTube, but it's kind of like a half stream. Okay, let's see. Brad, how you doing, Brad? Rick, Bengals over the Bills. Like, that's a good one. I'm a little surprised that the Bills are 4.5-point favorites over Cincinnati. Like, do they really feel like they're 4.5 points better? I don't think so. Sam to the rescue. It's not clicked on the right stream, and so I can't pull super chats. Sam is the duct tape of chat sports. He comes in and he just fixes everything, right? Greg will throw your super chat on screen in just a moment. Scorpion, Bills will beat Cincinnati. I think the Bills are a team of destiny. When DeMar Hamlin comes out for the coin toss, there's no chance Cincinnati can win that game. Yeah, okay. I thought you were saying we were screwed for a second. You can't do that to me. Levi, 49ers and Jags in the Super Bowl. What's kind of funny about the Jags, if I may, is with the top-tier quarterbacks. And that's understandable because he hasn't gotten to that level yet. But he was the first overall pick just a year ago. And in his second season, he's winning playoff games. I think we should give him probably a little bit more credit than what we do, which we never include him even close to the same breath as the Herberts and the Allens and the Mahomes and the, Burrows of the world. Like, he's not in that level yet, but he's right next door. And I think he should be right there, too. Scorpion with our first super chat. We got it on screen for you, my man. Just got paid, so here's to a good day. I love it, Scorpion. Payday is the best day just after Saturday. I don't think Saturday is ever defeated. Saturday's a great day. Scorpion, cheers to you, my friend. Greg with the $5 super. I lived in New Jersey/New York for 2 years growing up, so go Giants. Understandable. I get that. Yeah, you can always have a side piece, right? Once your main hoe is out, right, you can kind of go, well, funny fact, my dad grew up in that city, so I've long been a fan of that team. Now, Greg, I have a secret. I have a surprise. I cooked something up new for the offseason, and here it is. We gave away the Wall of Fame Dog Pound poster to Michael Misner last week for being the biggest super chatter. So what I want to do over the offseason is this. I want to reward you guys who tune into the Thursday shows for the 2023 regular season. Greg, I'm giving you a player comp of Dennis Northcutt. What I've done is I went back to last week's shows, and I hope I didn't miss anyone, but it's not part of the live, is it? Look in Monday.com. Sorry, Greg. I got Patrick in my ear for a moment. So I've given you a comp of Dennis Northcutt. Yeah. What does this mean exactly? Dennis Northcutt, Greg, kind of just old-fashioned, like, when you think of Browns legends, like, may not be a legend, might not be, like, retire his number kind of guy, but he had some good seasons, and Greg is a very valuable member of this show. So, Greg, I hope you like the player comp. I picked one for a whole bunch of different super chatters we had a week ago. So, if you super chatted last week, good chance I got a player comp ready for you. I think I got everyone. I'm going to feel really bad if I forgot someone, but I'll get you next week, so don't worry about it. So, Greg, appreciate your super chat. And hey, if you super chat $50 over the course of a show, I'll come up with a player comp for you for next week's live show. And anytime you super chat, we'll throw it on screen. Okay, so let's go to Tyler's super chat because Tyler's got one. Josh, thank you very much for the nice compliments. I love this polo. It's a goodie. $5 super chat coming in from Tyler. My comp should be Josh Gordon. Not in the field very much, but very effective when I am. Also, I love weed. We're not going to call the police. Tyler Becker, we do have a comp for you. And it's kind of funny because I had the same train of thought when I picked your comp. Is it in there? Did I not? No. Uh-oh. What have I done? I'm pretty sure I did. One moment. Just a moment. This is disaster mode. We are in major cleanup mode here. I thought I made it. Oh, no. Okay, 1 second.
Don't worry, guys. We're getting it going behind the scenes for you.
You talk for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
I melted down here.
Tyler, we appreciate it. Petey and I were also kind of getting this going right before the show started today because we want to show some love to you guys, and we want to show the Browns fans how much you guys mean to us. And we love doing these little player comps for you guys.
Okay. I got it. I've got him. Tyler Becker coming in. Give me a countdown of 15 seconds.
15 seconds, Petey?
15 seconds. Here it is. It'll be in there.
15, 14.
Look at the bottom. It should be there
13,
right now. I think I got it. I got it. Here we go.
Oh, wow. You didn't even need that.
Tyler, I like Josh Gordon. I went with this player comp, though. I had the same train of thought, just a different way. I went Jason McCourty. When you think of that bad 2017 season, there's not a lot of bright spots. Jason McCourty was pretty good. I don't think most people remember him being on the Browns. I think most people think of him as a New England Patriot. But I think Jason McCourty fits you pretty well because Tyler Becker is not going to be in every single play, but he's a great guy to have, right? That's a good locker room piece right there. So, Tyler, I picked Jason McCourty. Not sure if he's a weed guy. We'll have to ask Jason. We'll have to get him on the show. First question.
I think he's watching.
Stance on. I know. Yeah, I'm sure he is. So, if anyone's close to Jason, please get him in touch with the program. But, Tyler, always appreciate your super chats. Cheers to you, my friend. So, here's the ridiculous rumor I want to talk about. It's so dumb that I'm a little mad at myself for even getting into this pond, but I've seen too much chatter on it to not report on it, if you will. Would you trade Nick Chubb for a late first-round pick? It's kind of a loaded question. If the Bears ask for Nick Chubb for the first overall pick, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, you're doing it, Nick Chubb's probably doing it. The thing is, whenever we talk about trading Nick Chubb, and there's a guy who I have seen fan-sided and other little blog boys write about trading, I'm not going to even say his name out loud, but his number is above 8 and it's below 6. First number above 8, second number below 6. I'm not going to say it out loud because it's so stupid to even think about. I think Chubb is right there with it. But would you trade Chubb for a late first? If the Bills won the Super Bowl, they've got the 31st overall pick, and they want to run it back, and they think Nick Chubb can, take off for them, which I don't see why not. Would you do that deal? A late first for Nick Chubb? Absolutely not. Levi's saying 0 Bernie heads. Levi, you're going to like what's coming up later on the show. Michael Warnecki with a $50 super chat. Oh, boom, boom. Let's go. Not about the trading Chubb. No, just Michael Warnecki. But 0 Bernie heads. Yes, we are all going to agree when we get to that portion of the show it's kind of dumb to think about because, one, they're not trading Chubb. Two, no one's offering them a first-round pick for a running back. Thank you, Trent Richardson. Will never happen again. But the idea of the Browns getting a first is like, yeah, sure, if someone calls and offers it, you got to consider it. But no one's ever going to do that, right? You're not calling to offer a first-round pick for a running back on their second contract. That's just not how it works. Tyler Becker with a $2 super chat, and Patrick had to come on for himself. Patrick, I think the floor is yours.
He says, Patrick, I am also so sorry about the Vikings. Tyler, I appreciate it. It's okay. I've kind of gotten over it. It's just, Browns fans, Vikings fans, no disappointment.
Different levels.
Different levels.
There's a different postseason disappointment and regular season disappointment.
That's true. But, yeah, I'm kind of over it now. Just a brutal loss. The season, NFL, it's so funny. It's such a long year.
I might go back.
Comes to an end like that.
I might go back and spend my off day making a compilation of all the times I said the Vikings were frauds on this. And, your eye rolls and,
Stop. Do not
the boiling anger that would build up. And it's on Sunday, by the way. Yeah, on Sunday. Last week, whenever was it Saturday or Sunday they played? Sunday. Yeah. I honestly didn't even gloat. I think you'll testify. I saw it coming.
Petey also saw how sad I was.
Yeah, he was very sad.
I was very sad.
He was very sad. Okay. Michael Warnecki with the $50 super chat. Let's go. Let's throw the super chat menu on screen and show them what the new deal is without the MVP wall anymore. I'm doing player comps, which I think is kind of fun. Right?
Very fun.
The wall's awesome. We'll get a new one. But for the offseason, this is what I want to do, right? Happy hour every Tuesday. $2, ask me anything. $5 a dog bowl. $10, some fireball shots. $40, we shotgun race beers. And $50, which Michael just joined, you get to pick what player you want to be. So, Michael, I don't think you've ever actually included any sort of text in your super chats in the history of the Browns Report. But if you want a player, let me know in the chat. I'll see it, I'll remember it, and then we'll make it for next week's show. And anytime you super chat, we'll throw it on screen for you. Cheers to you, Michael Warnecki.
Thank you, Michael. We really do appreciate it. You are the GOAT.
Scorpion, I'm glad you said this super chat in, Scorpion. Who's my comp, Petey? Scorpion, I was making this an hour or so ago, and I was thinking going down the line, and I was like, Scorpion's kind of in a tier of his own. I don't want to predetermine one for you. I think we had this conversation a while ago. So, Scorpion, you get to pick. You're in that kind of level of the channel where I want to know what you'd like to have your player comp be. You've been that instrumental in this channel growing. I think it's only fair. So, Scorpion, let me know. G-Money Uptown with the next super chat on the show. Yes, and I would try and get Bijan Robinson with that pick. So, we're going back to the Nick Chubb stuff. And, hey, Bijan Robinson could be an awesome running back. Nick Chubb's coming off a career high in touchdowns and yardage. It just doesn't seem like now is the time when you give up 3 first-round picks for your star quarterback to turn around and go, let's trade away our second or third best player. That doesn't seem like it's good timing, right? Don't you see how maybe we could look back at that and go, oh, the Browns are going to Brown. They get Deshaun Watson. They finally have their franchise quarterback. And what do they do less than 12 months later? They trade away their star Pro Bowl All-Pro running back. Maybe not the brightest idea. Nick Chubb should be a Brown for life. He should play the modern running back, probably plays 8 years, right? You're going to get the rookie contract out of them, 4, maybe 5 their first rounder. You're going to add an additional 4 years on that contract, 8 years. And that's probably about it, right? Yeah. Zeke is we look at Zeke like he's 33. He's 28 years old. Yeah. He's not that old. So I would love for Nick Chubb to be a Cleveland Brown for life.
Then Michael Warnecki said Josh Cribbs in the chat, PD.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right.
We already have a Josh Cribbs, so now it's meltdown mode for me here. If you've got a second, we could have 2 Josh. Can we have 2 Josh Cribbs? I don't know if there's room for 2 Josh Cribbs. It's hard to deny what Michael Warnecki would like, though. Fuck. Okay. We'll circle back. If you have a backup choice, please voice it now, please. G-Money Uptown. What's our chances to get Jalen Hyatt's 4.3 speed? Awesome player. Comes out of Tennessee. And I know that Haslam has an affinity for Tennessee, of course, right? Big-time donor, grad, all that good stuff. Haslam School of Business. Had Einstein Bagels in there. What's your bagel order? Would love to get that after finals. And what are the chances? What's our chances? the draft is always a bit of an enigma before the combine. Jalen Hyatt right now is not looking like he's going to be a first-round pick. If Jalen Hyatt runs a 4.38 at the 40 at the combine on his 40, he'll probably move into round 1. And the Browns pick at 42. That just seems too far away, but crazy stuff happens. George Pickens, DK Metcalf, those guys slid. Probably should have been first rounders. So anything's possible, but our chances of getting him when the Browns are on the clock, I'm gonna go 35%. 35% chance. That doesn't seem so bad. Joshua Miller with a $2 super chat.
Bang!
Bang! Who's Patrick's comp? So we have a comp for Joshua Miller. Yeah, I'm trying to.
Former Browns.
Okay.
I guess
So
Joe Thomas.
Patrick, who do you want your comp to be?
I guess it'll be Joe Thomas.
You
It's
can't
okay.
go Joe Thomas. You can't jump to Joe Thomas.
Former Browns. You can pick for me.
I've got a good one for him.
You go first or me go first? You grade mine.
Okay. Marshall Green, by the way, former.
I'm going to go Quell Jackson.
Oh, good linebacker.
Good
Yeah.
linebacker. He's always there.
He's always there,
really
reliable.
displays.
Yep. I'm going to
This
go,
Patrick,
yep,
right, yep.
this Patrick here. I'm going to go with Gary Barnidge. Great tight end. I believe he was a ginger, if I remember correctly. That's like moving most of that
That's
pick right
90%.
there.
That is Harrism right there.
Yep, okay. Let's throw Josh's comp pick on, though. Okay, Josh. There it is. I know how much you love Cade York, so I went Phil Dawson. I know you got a Cade York jersey. I thought Phil Dawson would be pretty fitting, so I hope you like the pick, Josh. Spent some time thinking about some of these picks. So, Josh, cheers to you, my friend. Jacob with the next super chat on screen. Then we really got to get the show on the road here. It is 3:20. I'm going to get in trouble. Jacob, Nick Chubb gives Cleveland Chubbies never trade. Yeah, Jacob with the super chat of the day so far. Cheers to you, Jacob, and to Cleveland Chubbies. Boy Scouts can camp under the tents that Nick Chubb gives Browns fans. All right, here's what we got coming up on today's show. As always, the latest news and rumors. We'll use our Bernie Kosar heads, plus the Browns' perfect off-season, what it could look like for Cleveland, and then a live Q&A at the end of the show. Use hashtag Browns or Super Chat. We are a little bit behind right now. It's 3:19. So we got to catch up a little bit. Patrick, are we ready on the ones and twos? Okay, this first one is BetUS. Let's jump into it, guys. What's going on, Browns fans? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with the latest news and rumors on the Browns. After hiring Jim Schwartz as the DC, the water's calmed down a little bit right now. There's not too much rocky waves out in Lake Erie, but there's still some interesting things I want to talk about on today's show. So, today's show, if you're not familiar, is utilized with our Bernie Kosar heads. So we have this scale of believability, if you will. If a story has 0 Bernie heads, it's fake news. If it's got 4 Bernie heads, believe one, right? And then we fall somewhere in between for most of the stories. So we like to use this to kind of gauge how realistic some of these topics are that are floating around the internet. Let's start with this first segment on the show. Nick Chubb, is he going to get traded? Fake news. Fake news. I'd love to make this so abundantly clear because for 2 reasons. I have seen more than one person talk on Twitter and other spots about trading Nick Chubb. And here's the issue with this idea of trading Chubb, and I'm just going to nip it right in the butt. People often say, if someone called Andrew Berry and offered a first for Nick Chubb, you tell me he wouldn't take it? I'll tell you he wouldn't take it because he's never going to get that phone call. No one's calling to offer a first-round pick for a running back on their second contract. Nick Chubb is coming off a phenomenal season, but a GM that's going to use a first-rounder for Nick Chubb would probably just use it on a running back who they could then have on their rookie deal. That's why this would never really happen. Not even because the Browns don't want to trade Chubb, which they do not, but I would do okay, here we go. I'm going to do a polar plunge in Lake Erie if Nick Chubb gets dealt for a first-round pick. I said it. So Jack Duffin, who is a great follow on Twitter, he writes some pretty interesting stuff, but he's just kind of the punching bag right now, if you will, for where I sort of last saw this, now like the last straw that broke the camel's back. So he talked about trading Nick Chubb, or like what the value was. And he said he wouldn't do it too, and I'm saying that too. So we're not too far apart. But it wasn't just Jack Duffin. I also saw Dog Pound Daily and many other spots. Chops talks about it on Twitter. There's always engagement on this topic. So that's why we're discussing this today. There's just one too many people out there talking about the idea of entertaining trading Nick Chubb. And it's just not going to happen here, okay? For the people in the back, one more time, do not trade Nick Chubb. Not just because you're probably never going to get that offer, but because Nick Chubb is phenomenal. That's why. It wouldn't make any sense to go get Deshaun Watson, give up 3 first-round picks, and then in less than a calendar year, decide, let's trade our all-pro running back. That's going to help this offense that in 6 games under Watson was pretty rocky to say the least. Chubb, career high in yardage, tied his career high in touchdowns with 12. It makes no sense. Yes, if the Bears called and said, can we give you the first overall pick for Nick Chubb? Of course I'll take that deal. But no one's ever going to offer a first-round pick for a running back anymore. Shout out Trent Richardson. So you don't have to worry about this. But it is a democracy here at the channel. So if you want to disagree, go ahead and do so in the comment section. Would you trade Chubb for a late first-round pick? I'm not going to even play the what-if game of a top 16 pick for a running back. Not going to happen. The only way I ever see myself doing a polar plunge in Lake Erie is if the Bills with the 31st overall pick decide, let's trade for Nick Chubb and let's run it back next year. That's the only avenue I really see. Or like the Chiefs, for example. But even then, why wouldn't they just go ahead and pick like Bijan Robinson or another running back in round 1? If it's not the top 20 top 20 pick in the first round, you're Andrew Berry, you don't even pick up the phone, right? You send them right to voicemail, okay? Even then, like I say this, not even a little bit of a devil's advocate, but just to go to show that you're not going to get any first-round offer from a running back. I might get old takes exposed for this. I just don't see it happen. Next story on today's show. Are changes coming for Myles Garrett with Jim Schwartz as DC? You betcha. 4 Bernie heads, baby. Believeland. Yeah, things are going to get different. Things are going to get better in a lot of ways for Myles Garrett. But Jim Schwartz had his introductory press conference yesterday, and he had some good things to share. It was one of the best press conferences I've really seen, right? Talked a lot about just his start in the NFL with the Browns and with Bill Belichick and everything he learned, including not eating Bill Belichick's turkey sandwich. And he talked about how when he was with Detroit, the name of the game was don't let Calvin Johnson beat you. So we kind of knew that if that was the opposing plan's defensive strategy, well, then he's got to think, all right, every 17 weeks we're going to play a team and their offense's plan is don't let Myles Garrett beat us. So now it's up to Jim Schwartz to make sure their plan does not work. Now, there was some other interesting things that came out of it that I wanted to share. Hayden Grove tweeted this out, and I kind of thought the same thing too, so that's why I want to echo it. Last takeaway from Jim Schwartz's press conference. He and Myles Garrett are going to have a long talk. A long talk. And it just might be the best thing to happen to Myles Garrett. What do you think he's getting at here? I'll expand on it in just a second. But hey, if you're looking for a reason to subscribe, here's why. We do live shows every single Thursday. And if we get super chats in, we're having a good time, we're going to drink out of a dog bowl. So if you want to watch a grown man drink out of a dog bowl, like I said, hit that big red button and subscribe because let's go Browns, baby. Oof, oof. Okay. Let's look at that Jim Schwartz quote now. I will say this. If I'm doing a good job, we will hold our best players the most accountable. If you start from that position, then everything else is gravy. If you do not hold your best players most accountable, then you can have some bad vibes and different things can go on because they know, like, hey, you are coaching that guy and you said that to him because he is an undrafted free agent as opposed to a first-round pick, a high-priced free agent, or a veteran player. If I am doing a good job here, we will coach the undrafted free agent the same way we do the veteran player who has been to multiple Pro Bowls. When other players see you do that, I think it gives them confidence. Like I said, you hold your best players the most accountable. I think what the hidden message here is more or less leadership. I don't want to make something out of nothing, but when Myles Garrett got benched to start the series for that 1 week against the Saints or Commanders, whatever it was, he was sick and he missed practice and forgot to report it. He's a guy just like you and me. He's a human being. Have you ever called in fake sick to work? I think that's probably what happened more or less. Like, it doesn't really sound normal like he was sick and forgot to report it. And if that was the case, maybe Kevin Stefanski wouldn't have, benched him to start the game, if you will. I do appreciate Stefanski sticking by his guns and holding people accountable. But I think Jim Schwartz needs to come in here and solve the leadership problem on this defense. Because early on in the season, when things weren't going well against the Falcons, against the Patriots, against the Chargers, no one on this defense really stepped up to save the season. Ultimately, it cost them the season. Yeah, they had a good week against the Bengals. Yeah, they had a good week against the Texans. But that's not enough. That's not consistent. And for the amount of resources in free agency and the draft that have gone into this defense, I think Jim Schwartz does need to sit down with Myles Garrett and go, you are the Superman in the face of this defense. And Perrion Winfrey getting suspended twice or, in-house suspension, healthy scratch, whatever, not going to fly. Everyone's got to get in line here, and we're going to whip everyone into shape. Before we wrap up the show, we got a couple more subjects to cover. But first, today's show is made possible by BetUS. Real talk. Let's talk gambling for a second here. I'm all over the Jags +9, and I think I need to be medicated for it. I'm sure the Chiefs are very capable of blowing out Jacksonville, but something tells me Trevor Lawrence and the Jags are going to give the Chiefs a run for their money, at least in the first half. Maybe Kansas City comes out a bit rusty, the rest versus rust debate or whatever. So just keep an eye on that. Make all your picks. Ride with me. Fade me. I don't care. Just do it at chatsports.com/bet. Promo code Browns125. Let's continue on the Jim Schwartz train here. Did he win his press conference? 4 Bernie heads, baby. Believeland. Yes, he did. I know it's just a press conference. I know that. And we got to see it materialize. We got to see it show up on field. But it's January. The Browns aren't playing in the postseason. And this feels like a win to me. All right? Especially when he's saying truth bombs like this. Cameron Justice tweeted out, Jim Schwartz, that's a burp from the dog bowl, ends his press conference with, you want a coach where fans are passionate. I feel a tremendous amount of responsibility to the fans to get this right. There's only one place that could outdo that parade in Philadelphia, and we're right here. Fucking go. That is like ice in your veins, run through a wall. That's a guy I would jump on a hand grenade for. It's just a press conference, but it's the offseason. And that's the kind of stuff that I'll squeeze out for weeks, baby, right? That's the kind of juice I need. Jim Schwartz ending it with, before I walk away and get to work on this defense, which needs some work, we're going to get a parade in Cleveland. And a good parade this time, too. Not an 0-7 or 0-16 parade. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. So, what's your confidence level in Jim Schwartz? Scale it 1 to 10. 10 being he's going to get this Browns defense at a Super Bowl level, and they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl next year. 1 being it's a flop, it's not going to work. I'm going to go with a solid 7.7, right? I have to wait and see a little bit more. Of course, not a little bit more. I have to wait and see something to go above the 8, but I'm there, baby. I love this hire. Let's go. Now, we haven't done this in a while, but it's the offseason, which means I kind of get a little bit more time, and I can, hone in on the comment section because that's one of my favorite places to go. I've been a bit too neglectful lately, so I want to bring back comment of the day. This one comes in from Dustin Murphy. I think a good, older, cheap veteran defensive end would be good for this defense. Like a Justin Houston type. Not him, I agree. But you know what I mean. I do. They are available late in camp and someone grabs them and they have a decent season. The Ravens always have a knack for finding older defensive ends and getting the little bit of juice out of them. And a 9-wide, pass rusher friendly technique and scheme, that Jim Schwartz runs, I do believe the Browns they have to be strategic. They have to be technical in what moves they make in free agency. And I wouldn't mind them kind of going light at the opposite defensive end position to go get a Deron Payne. And maybe they go with a older defensive end on a 1-year, $6 million contract to casually pops off for 7.5 sacks. So, Dustin, thank you very much for the comment. That's going to do it for this show. We'll see you guys later here on the Cleveland Browns Report. We got a mailbag coming up in just a little bit. So get your questions in, hashtag Browns, or you can super chat. AFX Apocalypse in the chat saying, Petey, the script writers probably want the Chiefs to win in the Bills and Chiefs AFC Championship. I've always thought if the NFL is scripted, the Jags would not be leading the fourth quarter in New England in 2017. Right? Like, if the NFL is scripted, there's one too many close calls. You know what I mean? Where teams were like, whoa, they're winning. You know what I mean? Like, they probably wouldn't have the Jags beat the Steelers. So, whenever people say the scripted part, like, I don't think they actually really do believe it in their hearts of hearts. But if it was scripted, we would see teams like the New York Giants and the Chicago Bears be much bigger and prominent, right? The bigger markets would dominate a lot more than they are right now. So we got a super chat to catch up on coming in from my best friend Joshua Miller, Phil Dawson. Yes, let's throw up the Phil Dawson picture, Patrick, if we can. We're doing player comps all off season long. If you super chat $50 or more throughout a show, we'll give you a player comp. And anytime you super chat onto the show, we'll throw it on screen. Joshua Miller's is Phil Dawson. Cheers to you, Josh.
Shout out to you, Josh Miller. I love the Phil Dawson.
Oh, it's a good one. It's a good one. Another one from Josh. Would only trade Chubb to Miami, so double Chubb becomes a reality. Oh,
that's a good point.
You know,
Petey.
I think if they made that trade, the NFL would have to give Cleveland an automatic playoff bid for doing the league a favor,
Yes.
right? Nick Chubb and Bradley Chubb, that's deserving of an automatic wild card bid at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I could agree on. Exactly. Chubb needs to retire as a Brownie. Yeah, he absolutely will. So, Joshua, thank you very much for the super chat. Get those questions in. Good to see William Schur in the chat. Jersey Dog, Levi Mayfield. My comp will be Kevin Stefanski. Don't play, but got a lot to say. That's a really good one, Levi. I liked that one. Fletcher, Browns, and Legos. Just Browns. Okay. I learned this, by the way. Really quick sidebar. Did you guys know that as a single adult, a male, you can't go to Legoland by yourself? Legoland. They're afraid you're going to go in there and kidnap kids.
Oh, is that actually?
Yeah, you can't go to Legoland unless you are with children yourself. No. Yeah, I know. I learned that last night. It was pretty crazy. Joshua Miller with a $2 super. Phil Dawson is our best free agent signing ever. Josh is answering the question, I believe, that I asked like 2 days ago in a show of if the Browns sign, oh boy, Daron Payne, it would be the best free agent signing since blank. And Phil Dawson is up there. You know, J.C. Treader was good. It just wasn't J.C. Tretter's a good signing because he was good for the Browns, but he wasn't relatively known before that with the Packers. So I'm trying to think of some other ones. Unfortunately, there's not a long list of good ones. Oh, Michael Warnecki and Brown Tiger, let's go! Yes! Can I be Eric Metcalf? Done. In the books. Michael Warnecki, your comp all offseason long is Eric Metcalf. We'll get that whipped up for next Thursday's show. Shout out to you, Michael Warnecki. Always appreciate you being a part of our live shows. And then we got the Brown Tiger with a $10 super chat. Just getting here. What are the chances of my guy, Cleveland Farrell, coming to the land? Boom, baby. What are the chances? I think this is what Dustin Murphy, our comment of the day, was sort of getting at. Not so much the older element, but the cheaper side. And that is, Cleveland Farrell is like, yes, he's a 4th overall bust, but he's also been like, okay. You know what I mean? He's not someone that's out of the league in 3 years. So I think if the Browns put their resources in other spots, like if they go out and get Jesse Bates, for example, to team up with Grant Delpit, then they can't afford to get another big expensive player on the D-line. And that would mean maybe Cleveland Farrell comes over on a 1-year, $5 million contract. I'd be pretty, enticed by that. Brown Tiger, I know you're a bit tardy to the show. That's no problem at all. We're debuting a new thing for the offseason, and that is when you send a super chat in, I have created a comp pick for that person. And for you, for the MVP, I went Joe Hayden. I thought you might like this one. I know it's not a big, flashy offensive player, but Joe Hayden was a staple and a shutdown element of this defense. And I thought you might appreciate going with someone who is going to be, is retired as a Brown. I thought this would fit you well. I hope you like it. I try to think what everyone would like best. So shout out to you, Brown Tiger, the MVP. Thank you so much, my friend. Hope you like the Joe Hayden comp. $50 super chat. We'll pick a comp for you. $100, you can pick it yourself. And Michael Warnecki, since his was already taken, we did give him the luxury of picking up his own player there. So cheers to the Brown Tiger and Joshua Miller. Ryan Chowdhury, let's go. The comp picks are a big hit, I think. Do we like them? I thought this would be fun. Ryan Chowdhury with a $2 super chat. I want a comp pick. Ryan, this is an amateur hour. I got a comp pick for you, my friend. We got one. It should be in there. Okay, good. We're not going to have a Tyler Becker fiasco again. All right, yeah. Ryan, this is the comp pick I went with for you. Ready? Drum roll, please. Brrr. I went with Juice. I thought you might like it. I thought you might like Jarvis Landry, right? Ryan Chowdhury is that over the middle of the field, first down slot receiver that's just going to be in there and maybe not go off for like 180 yards and 2 touchdowns and an Odell Beckham Jr. XS kind of catch, but he's going to be gritty. He's going to get in the trenches, and he's going to pick up hard-earned yards. And that's fucking Ryan Chowdhury, baby. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. So, everyone loves Hayden. Brown Tiger, I thought you might like it. I had to go with a big player for you, of course. Joshua Miller, who gets the Bernie Kosar comp? Watch your bets. I think Bernie's he's untouchable, right? I think he has to be untouchable. So, I can't get Bernie out. If I get Bernie out, then it's just everyone's chasing after Bernie. So, yeah. So before we started, Patrick was like, "What player do I get?" And I was like, "Who do you want?" Oh yeah, you guys hear Gary Barnidge, but he was like Joe Thomas, and I was like, "You can't get Joe Thomas. Like, come on, you got to work your way to Joe Thomas." So coming up next on the show, we've got my perfect offseason plan. So like a 5-step plan. Okay, Brown Tiger, we had to fill this one on screen. Alex, do we trade Hunt in the offseason? No, Hunt's a free agent. You can't trade him, right? His contract is up when the new year starts, which is March 15th. So, no, you can't trade Hunt. He's not under contract. Brown Tiger, Patrick, the floor is yours.
I'm okay. I am about 60% happiness right now. It was about 10% on Monday, 20 on Tuesday. I'm getting there.
You know what's going to do you in? Had the Vikings won, they would have played who?
The Niners.
If the Cowboys go and beat the Niners, you might melt down. If Brock Purdy comes out,
like a 3-pick
that's what I'm saying.
game,
Brock Purdy comes out, those 3 picks. That could set you back.
No,
that could take years off your life. Knowing,
no, seriously, it might.
Oh my God, that was what we had waiting for us. Was a 3-pick performance from Big Cock Brock. That would be a tough one to overcome.
It's okay, Brown Tiger. Yeah. Thank you for looking out.
All right, next up on the show, though, my perfect offseason. A 5-step plan for the Browns to absolutely nail the offseason. So, Patrick, when you're ready on the 1s and 2s, let's jump into the show. Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. On today's show, I've got my 5-step plan for a perfect Browns offseason. Today's show, by the way, quick PSA, was filmed during our live show, which airs every Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern. But let's jump into it. Let's not waste any time. My perfect offseason for the Browns starts with this: signing Daron Payne. You're not doing it right if you're not signing Daron Payne, right? Daron Payne is absolutely the start of what I believe would be a perfect offseason for the Browns. We've shown Daron Payne's stats plenty of times. I want to put it under a new light, though. Look at Daron Payne, just Payne, against the Browns' defensive tackles, and that's Tommy Togiai, Jordan Elliott, Taven Bryan, and Perion Winfrey. 4v1. And Payne has about double the sacks, nearly double the QB hits, and he's more than double tackles for loss. Do I have to go on much further? Daron Payne single-handedly outdid 4 players on the Browns roster. That should say everything you need to know. Now, when it comes to signing Daron Payne, I think we're all in agreement that the stats check out. The skill level, it's all there. The age, all that good stuff. Now, Spotrac does contract projections, and what they did for Daron Payne was they projected a 5-year, $97 million contract, which comes out to an average of $19.4 million. That is way richer than Andrew Berry has ever indulged for a defensive tackle in what's been a relatively small career so far as a GM. Now, I've got some good news. I got some bad news when it comes to Daron Payne. The bad news is Washington may franchise tag him. And if they do, all this is for nothing, unless there's a tag and trade. The good news is this. It's the Commanders. If there's one team to botch this, it would be the Washington Commanders, right? That's the one team that would let a good player go, and the rest of the NFL goes, oh, God bless Washington for being one of the most inept franchises in the National Football League. So, if this was any other team, I'd be a lot more nervous about that actually happening. But knowing Washington, there's a 78% chance they're going to screw this up. So, I'm waiting for that 78% chance to hit. But when we look at that contract, I want to hear from you all. Would you do this deal? Would you give out about kind of round up 5-year, $100 million, $20 million average? That would make him the 4th highest paid defensive tackle in football. So that's how contracts work. It doesn't always reflect where they are amongst their divisional standings. But, you know, every new contract's supposed to be bigger than the last one. So let me know in the comment section below. Now, my second part of my perfect offseason is if you can't get Daron Payne because Washington franchise tags him, trade for DeForest Buckner. I think DeForest Buckner would be a very fun pickup for the Browns this offseason. One, look at what he's done the last 4 seasons. We're talking about one of the best interior rushers who can kind of move around the defensive line, which I like a lot. 8 sacks for the Colts, and Indianapolis is looking to hit a hard reset. If they move up, by the way, to go get a quarterback with the Bears' first overall pick or something, they're going to give up a lot. And they might try to recoup some of those assets they gave up by unloading DeForest Buckner for, I don't know, well, a second-round pick maybe, which we'll look at in just a second. But first, we got a new sponsor I'm really excited to share with you guys. Today's Cleveland Browns Report is sponsored by my favorite cereal, Magic Spoon. Growing up, cereal was one of the best parts of being a kid, but I had to give it up because I realized it was full of sugar and junk that you really shouldn't eat. But Magic Spoon is cereal reinvented. I start every day with a bowl of Magic Spoon. It tastes amazing, and honestly, it's too good to be true. Magic Spoon tastes exactly like regular cereal from your childhood, but is super nutritious with 13 to 14 grams of protein and 0 grams of sugar. Magic Spoon comes in delicious flavors such as cocoa, fruity, and frosted, and peanut butter, and is only 140 calories per serving. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, and soy-free. I love Magic Spoon because it tastes great and it's good for you. I'm never going to go back to regular cereal. Start your new year off right with Magic Spoon. Use the QR code on screen or go to magicspoon.com/chat and use my code chat for $5 off your own personalized Magic Spoon variety pack and stay on track on your New Year's resolution. That's magicspoon.com/chat or scan the QR code and use code chat. The link, by the way, is in the comments and the description of today's show. Magic Spoon is so confident in their own product, it's backed with 100% happiness guaranteed. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money and no questions asked. Once again, I've got all that information for you all in the comments and the description of today's show. Shout out Magic Spoon. Make sure you get that information in the comments and the description, like I said. So, the trade idea I cooked up is pretty simple, right? There's always some extra day 3 picks usually tossed in, but just at the surface level, DeForest Buckner for a second-round pick. So, I know parting ways with a second-round pick's never really that fun or easy, especially when you don't have a first-round pick, which I can get the hesitation for. In fact, let's look at the Browns' 2023 draft picks this year, and they don't have a ton of ammunition outside of, they don't have a ton of ammunition early on. Now, they still have 7 picks, which it could be worse. I think the Dolphins had like 5 picks last year. That second-round pick's pretty valuable because after that, it's a long fall. You only have 1 pick in the top 100, and it's pick 99. So, before you kind of throw your tomatoes at your screen and run me off going, no way am I trading away the second-round pick when the Browns don't even have a first-round pick. I get that. But can we go back in time for a quick second right now? Let's go back to the 2019 draft. I think it's fair to evaluate this draft because they played 2019, 20, 21, and 2022. So 4 seasons. We have a good idea of who these guys are by now. These are the picks that were taken right around where the Browns are selected. The Browns have the 42nd round pick. Drew Lock, an F. A guy we've never heard of, Tavai for the Lions, C, because he plays some games. Jenkins, good pick by the Packers, I give it an A. Joejuan Williams, I asked our Patriots guy, what do you know about Joejuan Williams? And he goes, run far away from it. I'm like, all right, well, that says everything I need to know. Greedy Williams, started off good, healthy scratch down the stretch this year. I give it a C-. That's not enough. How about 2018? Mike Gesicki, B-, maybe a bit better because he had some moments, but the Dolphins aren't bringing him back. Kerryon Johnson, D-. Dante Pettis, D-. Josh Jackson, D+. Look at that spread right there. The point I'm trying to make is I know it's never fun to move on from draft picks. But let's be clear. I'll take a proven talent over maybe hitting one of those picks, which we just saw. Most of them are misses. In fact, majority of the picks are misses. Take some time. I always love to do this. Pick a random draft. Go back to it. It's always kind of fun to see, like, oh, this team took this guy in front of this guy. You know what I mean? We took Jedrick Wills ahead of Tristan Wirfs and Grant Delpit in front of Antoine Winfield. But it's never fun moving on from draft picks. But if it's for proven talent, DeForest Buckner is proven talent. Sign me up. I know it would not be fun only having one pick in the top 100, but look at the hit rate for those second-round picks where just the last, 2 gradable drafts, in my opinion. Not pretty good. Now, the offseason is upon us, so if you are looking for the best Browns YouTube offseason coverage, you found the right channel. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. I'm trying to grow this channel so I can get more Browns content out to you guys. Here at Chat Sports, we have close to all 32 NFL teams covered, and it's a pecking order, and it's decided by subscribers. So if you're tired of the Browns being neglected or disrespected by the national media, me too, except it's in the walls of Chat Sports. Help me get more Browns content out by getting more subscribers and thus getting more studio space. Perfect offseason, prong number 3. Trade back in the draft. So number 3 is kind of contingent on how 1 and 2 go, right? If you trade for DeForest Buckner, you're not moving back in the draft. You don't have a second-round pick. But if you do sign Daron Payne, for example, I think trading back, I know it's not the fun thing to do, but the Browns did it last year, and they got them some extra picks that ended up in Cade York and Martin Emerson. They might not look back and be too upset about that. When we look at the Browns the NFL 2023 draft order, Cleveland right now is picking 42nd overall. So the way I look at it is this. If these 5 guys, and this list is going to grow as I do more draft prep and whatnot, let's say these 5 guys are off the board and taken. Browns are on the clock. Mozzie Smith, Ika, Jalen Hyatt, Josh Downs, Antonio Johnson, all are taken already. Well, then I might really consider going, the guys I like the most are gone at this point. So if that's the case, whoever I'm picking, I might be able to get a little bit later. And then maybe you do a trade like you did last year. Remember this trade with the Texans, which resulted in getting Martin Emerson? Look at this 2022 draft day trade that the Browns pulled off with the Texans. They got a 3rd and 2 fourths for the 44th overall pick. They moved from 44 to 68, so 24 spots, quick math, no big deal, and picked up 2 additional picks in order to do so. This is my trade idea now. What if the Browns and the Chargers, maybe the Chargers decide we want to kind of go all in, we see a guy we like, let's move up. I don't know. I kind of picked a team that felt like they would trade up. The Browns and the Chargers swap second-round picks, so Cleveland goes from 42 to 53. And they also pick up a 4th rounder and a future 3rd round pick. How does that sound? I think this might not be super fun, but keep in mind, 2024, the Browns only have 5 picks right now, right? And that would be with this trade here, right? If they pull off this trade, they're going to pick up a 3rd. Without it, they have a 2nd, a 3rd, a 5th, and a 6th, and that's it. That's not enough for Andrew Berry. He's going to want to get more picks. Hence the Troy Hill trade, for example. So if that trade goes down, Cleveland now looks at 2024 going, we moved back 11 spots, and now we have a second and 2/3. Still don't have a first, but a second and 2/3 we can make some noise with. My fourth prong of a perfect offseason is re-signing Anthony Walker. I really debated who they wanted to sign between Anthony Walker. Here, don't put that on. It's not correct. Anthony Walker or Taki. Anthony Walker got hurt early on in the season, of course. They lost him in the Steelers game against a really cheap shot, too, if I might add. And he was a big-time leader. He was the green dot, the voice of this defense, and it was a bummer when he went down. So losing Anthony Walker clearly put this defense behind a little bit. Taki filled in well. That Bengals game was awesome, but then he got hurt because all Browns linebackers got hurt. 71 tackles, 1 sack, and 4 tackles for loss for Taki. So when I'm trying to think of what the Browns need to do, they definitely got to start looking at their linebacker room, and I don't think it's going to be a major point of emphasis in terms of money. That's going to go to defensive line and maybe another safety, because I know Jim Schwartz loves to run a very scheme that's free safety friendly, and John Johnson's probably not going to be that guy. We'll talk about him in a minute. So if you had to pick a player to re-sign, who would it be, Walker or Taki? This one I'm open to. I think Walker, right? I've seen more from Walker. That's why, than Taki. Taki had some good special teams to start his career. He had a good stretch until he got hurt this year, but I'm going to hope on Anthony Walker. The only issue is 2 years in Cleveland, 2 injury-plagued seasons. Sounds like you already know what you're getting into, but if he wants to come back on like a 1-year, $4 million contract, I'm in. Fifth and final prong of my perfect offseason. I feel bad for saying it, but it's release John Johnson. It's not even because he sucks, which I don't think he sucks. I think he's probably a bit of a disappointment for the contract given out, but because they need help in the cap space. Right now, they're in the red. Now, they can make some money up by restructuring contracts like Deshaun Watson and whatnot, but also by releasing John Johnson, right? 2023 cap savings with a post-June 1 release, $8.8 million. That could go a long way. They're going to have to make some room, right? The Browns right now, current cap space is negative $14 million. The projected cap space for next year, $20 to $30 million. And that's with projections like releasing John Johnson, restructuring contracts, doing stuff like that, the rollover and whatnot. 20 to 30 million, we just looked at earlier. Deron Payne might sign $20 million average. If that's the case and you have $25 million, you're not doing a whole lot of other room in free agency. So John Johnson, they just need that money more than they need him. So that is my 5-step plan for a perfect offseason. Grade it for me. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know in the comment section below how you would grade my perfect offseason for the Browns. Mailbag is the next segment on today's show. We've already had a lot of super chats start flowing in. If you want to get on the mailbag, super chat your way on screen or use hashtag Browns in the chat and I'll answer the question you have. We got some super chats to catch up on during during the last segment. So Patrick, whenever you're ready, let's throw those on screen. Brown Tiger with a $5 super chat, my man. Off-season goals. 1, sign Payne. We're on the same page. 2, okay, I love this going. Yeah. I mean, this is what I've been saying. Like, I don't even care if it looks bad in a couple of years. It's like one of the worst signings. I'll go down on that hill. I will get vulnerable. Like, I am prepared to get hurt if they sign Deron Payne and it's a disaster and it's an awful contract, and I won't look back and go, what was I thinking? I am prepared to go like, yep, that was just, I was wrong, because I'm that confident in Deron Payne being an awesome addition to this Browns defense. Keith with a $5 super chat. Damn, Petey Buckner should not require a second. If Colt's going to cut anyway, same as Cooper, late round pick should be good enough. I see where you're coming from, and maybe that's right. Maybe second's a bit overambitious. The only thing is, I think Cooper went for a 5th because word got out that they were going to release him. And I don't think that's what the Cowboys would have liked. If the Colts do a better job of keeping it in-house, they might have a bit of a bidding war. For example, if the Bears and the Colts make a trade because Indy wants to go get Bryce Young, Indy might say, hey, first-round pick swap, future first, and DeForest Buckner. So there might be a bit of a bidding war for DeForest Buckner. I didn't get that sense last year with Amari Cooper. Didn't seem like a lot of other teams were all that interested in trading for Cooper. So the Browns were competing with like nobody. So that's kind of why they got him for cheap. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's, second round is way too ambitious. I think he's worth a second round. I think that's what his value is. But Cooper's value was definitely more than a fifth, like you said, and they got him for less. So I can see it. I can see it, Keith. Good point. We do a dog bowl for Keith and Brown Tiger.
Then the past master saying, just stopping by, my brothers. I see you, Patrick. In my opinion, the Browns core is solid. Just needs more of a supporting cast. The Browns can play/hang with anyone, though.
The Browns had 3 first-team All-Pro players and won 7 games. That sucks. You can't have 3 of the best at one position and win. Oh, no. Okay. We have a super chat from Brown Tiger we need to put on screen now, and we're not too proud of it. Brown Tiger, I thought you were one of us. Just put it on, and okay. I wasn't going to read it, but I read it to myself now, and it kind of makes sense. Body shot if we get pain and don't work. Yes. Yes. Brown Tigers, Joe Hayden, and that's his super chat comp. We have to define the parameters of doesn't work is, right? If it's year 1 and he has 2.5 sacks, that would probably be doesn't work. I'm not doing a body shot, though, if he has, 7 sacks and we're like, no, that's not as much as he had last year. No. Not going to happen. Rick with the super chat. Let's go, Rick. Rick was an early super thanks at the channel. Rick, just because I love the polo. Thank you very much. I love the polo, too. See, the secret is I wear it just about every Thursday now because then these videos go out over the weekend, and there's more airtime for this shirt. If I wear it on Tuesday, it just goes on screen once. Now I'm going to sprinkle it out for the whole weekend. I love it. We got a mailbag next up on the show. If you super chatted already and you had a question in your super chat and it wasn't about body shots, we're going to put that in the mailbag, okay? Patrick's going to be on his P's and Q's for that. Hashtag Browns like Jim is using if you want to get on screen with a regular question. So, no, do not put the body shot in there. We ready to jump into it? Let's do it, guys. Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Matthew Peterson. Mailbag edition here. I'm answering the questions that you guys asked during our live show every Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern. So tune in if you got a question you want to ask. Our first question comes in via Super Chat from G Money Uptown. What's our chances to get Jalen Hyatt's 4.3 speed? That's Tennessee wide receiver Jalen Hyatt, the Balinkoff, or however you pronounce it, receiver award winner for best receiver in the country. Go Vols and go pronouncing tough words. So, the chances, to answer your question. I think when the combine rolls around, we're going to get a much better idea of where some of the GMs view these guys. Mock drafts right now are always a crapshoot. Go find me a mock draft from January of 2022 and find me anyone that had Trayvon Walker going first overall. Things change, so buckle up for that element. I do think if Jalen Hyatt goes to the combine and puts up sub 4.4 40, he might sneak into round 1. The Browns pick at 42. That's 11 picks back from 32 is the first overall pick in round 2. So the point I'm making is it'd be a long fall. If I had to give you a chance to really answer your question for once, 35% chance. Gregory H. next up on the show. Who do you like as an edge rusher to complement Garrett? I think the Browns are going to spend money at defensive tackle and or safety. I don't think they're going to do it at linebacker. That's not a big need under Jim Schwartz's defense. When it comes to an edge rusher to complement Garrett, I'm sure they wish that could have been Alex Wright. Alex Wright, at least according to Pro Football Focus, was the worst edge rusher in football last year. He showed that he looked like a guy who's a long way to go still. So I'm fine with a cheap veteran free agent. I know this might not be a very fun name, but what about Clelin Ferrell? Sure, 4th overall bust. I get that. But I'm looking for guys who can sign $5 to $6 million-ish contracts, and Ferrell would be that he'd be in that tier. So I'm thinking of cheaper defensive ends. Another name that pops in my head is the 49ers have a rotational piece that I've watched a lot of film on. I'm starting to really like. Samson Ebukam, like him. I think the Browns are going to go for committee by, defensive end by committee. And they're going to spend cheap at that spot. John Blazin. Any chances they trade Greg Newsome with Martin Emerson playing better? I don't think it's a non-0% chance that Greg Newsome gets moved. The Browns have too many good corners, right? And that's a good problem to have. They have Martin Emerson, Denzel Ward, and Greg Newsome, 3 guys for 2 spots because Greg Newsome is just not a slot corner. And Greg Newsome, first-round pick, is a good corner. Is he first-round worthy? It's been 2 years. I'm probably going to lean on the side of no. I think he's had some good moments. He had a slow start to the season. But let's say a team like the Cowboys, who need a second corner opposite Trayvon Diggs, call an offer 2 third-round picks. I don't think they're going to get a first for Greg Newsome. Maybe they get a second. Maybe I'm undervaluing him. But I think 2 thirds is kind of in the realm of what you might get for him. So if the Browns got 2 third-round picks for Greg Newsome, would you do this trade? Let me know in the comment section below. I think Greg Newsome would be, that's the Cowboys, not the Chargers. I think Greg Newsome would be an interesting trade piece this offseason. We saw Cleveland move on from Troy Hill last year, so anything is possible. I don't know what they plan to do at cornerback because I don't think they want to roll with the same approach as last year because it just didn't really work. Plus, Jim Schwartz, new defense. He's going to have some input on how he wants to run his defense. Our next question coming in from Soul Train, a $5 super chat. What current players do you expect to break out under the new DC? Jim Schwartz is very, very beneficial to pass rushers. Myles Garrett, 16 sacks this year, tied a career high. I think he's going to have a 20-plus sack season maybe. 20 is a high number. He'll get close to it at least. I think Jim Schwartz's pedigrees is, hey, I get my pass rushers in creative and isolated spots where they can flourish, right? And so what's that going to do for players like Garrett? It's going to get a lot of great stuff out of them. Really excited to see Denzel Ward, actually, because I'm tired of watching Denzel Ward play in zone defense. That's just not what he was brought in to do. I always thought it was a bizarre fit for him. So Denzel Ward on man-to-man coverage, I mean, you're paying him $100 million. Go play man-on-man, right? Not to play in the zone. I never got that much logic. If you want to have a zone cover corner, why are you paying him $100 million? So Garrett for sure, that's kind of a cop-out. Denzel Ward, and then I'm also going to toss in TBD, whoever the starting free safety is. That's a very important position for Jim Schwartz's defense. If it's DeAnthony Bell, if it's a rookie, if it's a cheap free agent, or if it's an expensive free agent, maybe they even move Grant Delpit. Wouldn't be shocked if they do anything there. Free safety will be a fun one to watch. Levi Mayfield next up on the show. Do you think that Jakeem Grant will overcome the injury to play next year? He suffered that ruptured Achilles in early August. Jakeem Grant was brought in for special teams, right? That's what he did in Chicago, in Miami, and tearing your Achilles later on in your career is not good for someone whose career revolves around speed. He loses a step or two, there's not much else he's offering at the table. So I want to be optimistic, but in my heart of hearts, no, I don't think I wouldn't be shocked if he got cut. So it's a bummer. They desperately needed some special teams spark this year, and that was supposed to be Jakeem Grant. They never recovered from that injury. We are closing in, by the way, on 17,000 subscribers. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. I want to get there at least by the Super Bowl, if not well before then. That's actually even a dumb goal. Let's go by the fake Pro Bowl, okay? Before the dodgeball breaks out. That's when I want to hit 17K subs. Hit that big red button and subscribe. G Money Uptown next up on the show with another super. I saw they might go for Unique Ngakoue, 9.5 sacks. Unique Ngakoue is going to cost a little bit of money, and I just don't think they're going to put that money at defensive end. I think he's going to want that, like Jim Schwartz is going to want an improvement at defensive tackle. So if the Browns had more to spend, yeah, they could go Unique Ngakoue and not even like a Deron Payne or Javon Hargrave, but like a Tier Tart or someone or a Shy Tuttle, right? Kind of a mid-level defensive tackle. They don't have the luxury of doing that. They got to pick their battles. And I don't think defensive end is going to be the number one priority. They have Myles Garrett. They were hoping Alex Wright could maybe step into that role of a future counterpart. Not looking like the case right now. It's only been one season, so don't judge too early, but I just don't see enough money for Ngakoue coming to Cleveland. Jacob, you're next up on the show. If trade Newsome, who playing corner when Ward's hurt? AJ Green. I mean, for one, like he took over Greedy Williams' spot, right? Greedy Williams is a healthy scratch for the second half of the season. I think AJ Green is definitely growing into a legit corner. Now, he's going to be a restricted free agent. I'm guessing they'll match and they'll put a tender offer out, whatever all that nonsense is, and they'll bring him back. So when Denzel Ward, if, but we kind of know when too, gets hurt, Martin Emerson definitely looks like a guy next year who can easily be your CB1 and take on the opposing team's best player. And AJ Green, plus if you trade Greg Newsome, you're definitely going to go out and sign some cheaper free agent to be that CB4 or 3 on the roster. We've got more questions to answer in just a second, but BetUS, our proud sportsbook partner at Chat Sports, is offering the Dog Pound 125% deposit bonus when you go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code Browns125. So make sure to do so if you haven't already and bet on the postseason at BetUS. Cool guy called Zone. Do we trade Kareem Hunt and what for? You can't trade Kareem Hunt. He is a free agent. So unless you tag and trade, no, you can't trade Kareem Hunt. I'm not going to even go the hurdles, the gymnastics of how you could technically. He's a free agent. There's no trading him. Harry Rowland next up. Who is a backup option if Deron Payne gets franchise tagged? This is a real possibility that I think a lot of us are just hoping doesn't come to fruition. There's a chance Deron Payne never gets to test free agency because the Commanders slap about a $19 million franchise tag on him, 18 to 19-ish million, and all of a sudden Cleveland's hopes and dreams of signing Deron Payne go down the toilet. There's a guy I like, Tier Tart. He was a former UDFA who has climbed up the ranks, which is always kind of a good story. So you like to see UDFAs maybe get a payday in free agency. But he also overlapped with Jim Schwartz in Tennessee, so there could be a connection right there. And the Titans, when they lost Jeffrey Simmons, Tier Tart really stepped into that role nicely. And I wouldn't be shocked if Tennessee goes, we got to pick and choose where we want to spend our money, and where our window is kind of closed. Now is not the time to go and spend a good amount of change on a defensive tackle. So Tier Tart, I think, would be a really fun acquisition. Plus, I could see Jim Schwartz getting the best out of him. And he's going to be more that nose tackle, that run stopper you are really looking for on this Browns D-line. I want to ask this question before we get on out of here. What are your playoff predictions for the NFL this weekend, championship weekend, Super Bowl? Just give me a playoff prediction you have. I'll leave it open-ended. It can be an upset. It can be a Super Bowl MVP. It can be anything you like. Just give me your boldest, hottest, takiest playoff prediction. Patrick was cracking open a cold one in the middle of that one.
Dude, so it started squirting out somehow, and I looked at the laptop, and it was covered.
Oh, my God.
So I had to put it down, and I was like, oh, please, nothing go wrong, so we're good. I was having a kind of a moment there during the cut.
Damn. Ugh. Luke, can you tell Will Scott he's the man? He's really excited about someone losing their job today.
He is.
Which I can't judge because I was in the same boat when Joe Woods got fired. Chiefs versus Giants Super Bowl. I just can't see the Giants making the Super Bowl. Marshall Green's not going to like that, but come on.
PD? So
yeah. Come on screen.
You know who I'm all in on?
Tell me.
Daniel Jones.
Good answer.
Let's go.
Marshall just popped into the studio for that. He was
I was
waiting.
just telling him, I'm all in on Daniel Jones.
All right, here it is. Daniel Jones gets a 3-year, $90 million contract.
More than that.
Oh, I don't know if you go more.
He's getting 4 for 160.
Are you out of your damn mind?
I'm serious.
No,
Petey.
you are
He is
not
legit.
paying him that much.
He's legit. I love Danny Dimes.
I'm gonna do a 3-year, $90 million, and the third year is a team option.
Okay.
Okay, if that happens, come back here and cite your sources. Cowboys lose on a missed extra point. What do they do? I mean,
So
they're going to stick with Brett Maher, which I think you probably should do. But the moment he misses a kick, you're going to go, what were we thinking? We had a fair warning.
can I get really personal with you?
Yeah,
right now?
yeah,
Like a really personal question.
yeah. Personal, just for me.
Cowboys 49ers.
Okay.
Brett Maher has missed 2 extra points.
Okay.
You're in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
He's missed 2 extra points,
I follow.
but he's made a 48-yarder.
Okay.
Cowboys are driving down the field.
Yep.
You have a 53-yarder on a 4th and 5.
Kick it.
You're trusting him?
4th and 5's too long.
Okay.
He's also really good of over 50.
He is good over 50.
He's actually much better over 50 than under 50. But that was a 48-yarder, you said, right? Oh, 53-yarder.
53-yarder.
He made a 48 already. Yeah. So get your playoff predictions in. Hey, this is sort of the bonus portion of the show. We like to kind of talk shop here. So if you've got something you want to talk about, Super Bowl playoffs, really anything related to football or even not related to football, restaurant chains, best places to watch football, you know, let's kind of get off the rails here for the end of the show. So if you got a draft subject, we didn't come prepared. Shame on us today. We got really busy, honestly. It was kind of a hectic Thursday.
Petey, I know your underdog lock.
Yeah, my underdog lock is I'm going to go the Chargers. Excuse me. Yeah, the Jaguars.
Also, not mean to toot Petey and I's own horn here.
We should get some stake of Jags ownership.
We were at Nodding Donkey in August, pounding the table for the Jacksonville Jaguars, going through their schedule.
Win.
We were all over the Jags
We were.
in August.
And now they're winning playoff games.
Yep. It's incredible.
Yep.
Doug Peterson, franchise quarterback, to the moon.
Exactly. Brown Tiger, it would be a Cowboys thing to ever pay the kicker with an extension since he missed all those extra points. Luke really wants to know about the Vikings schedule. You can't do that, I think, until it comes out.
I agree.
Yes, you know the opponents, but you got to know the order they're playing them in.
I'll tell you what, Luke. Whatever the Vikings over-under is, probably leaning towards that under right now.
Oh, there's a lot of one-score games this year.
You go 11-0 in the regular season.
Yeah.
I mean, the regression's coming.
Keith, PD/Patrick, who's a better GM, Dorsey or Andrew Berry? I do think that Dorsey probably gets too much criticism, in my opinion. He drafted Nick Chubb and Myles Garrett. He got Jarvis Landry. My issue is whenever people critique GMs, they act like every GM has a perfect resume. All 32 GMs have misses. It's a crapshoot. You just try to have a good batting average, right? It's like you can't get mad for a baseball player. You hit 350. Why do you hit 900? Because that's impossible. So, yes, Dorsey had some misses and whatnot. He wanted Baker, not looking great, but he had some good hits too. To answer the question, though, Keith.
Yeah, where would you go, Petey?
Andrew Berry.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Berry has to really show it this year, though. Like the team does. You know what I mean? If it doesn't start working out, he's a very well-respected man in the NFL. And I think that says a lot about where his status is with the Browns. But there's just so much meddling that goes on in Cleveland. Like, Paul DePodesta wanted Sean McDermott, and they went with Kevin Stefanski. Probably should have gone with McDermott. Like, there's so many, one guy wanted this way, one guy wanted that way, and it's always just well, he gets a point for that, but he loses 2 points because he also signed this guy, but he gets a point because he released this guy. The gymnastics we go through with GMs is taxing on the brain. Joshua Miller with a $2 super.
Bang.
Let's go. And we'll throw Josh's picture on, too.
Whoa.
Jags, Giants, Super Bowl, payout for that.
That's a lot of money.
I'm going to say the odds would be plus 2,000. I mean, we're down to 8 teams. So these are the 2 lowest seeds remaining, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Plus 2,500, right? I think that's probably what it's got to be here. Joshua Miller, though, you are the Phil Dawson of the channel. Hey, if you want a player comp and you're watching right now, you super chat $50 or more throughout the course of the show. I'll pick a player comp for you, $100 or more, and you get to pick the player you'd like to be. Joshua Miller with another super chat.
Love it.
Pick an NBA starting 5 all time plus 6 man. Okay, I like it. You got your draft.
Shot clock this?
Yeah. If we don't get another super chat by the time we wrap up this draft, then that's going to be it for today's show. We're at $140. It'd be cool if we got to 200 today.
Oh, we can.
Yeah.
So do you want to do this? You go, I go, and we go back and forth.
Yeah,
We got
one at a
Phil
time.
on 5.
One at a time.
Okay.
No snake even. Do you want the first or second? Because
You know who it's going to be for either of us.
I know, yeah.
I'll go second. You
Okay.
can,
Yeah.
we'll snake this.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I knew you were
Going
going
MJ.
there.
Just because, we're doing a starting 5, I think it's important to remember my 5's playing against his 5. You need competitiveness because they're all great.
Yeah. So I'm going to go my 2-3.
Oh, you're going to snake?
Snake it.
Okay.
Kobe LeBron. That's why I'm going to go on my 2 and 3. I'm going
that's a good
Kobe
one.
Bryant, LeBron James.
Yep. Okay.
Back to Petey.
Back to me. I will go with. I feel like I'm just gonna make a whole bunch of old guys here. Magic Johnson,
Okay.
my point guard.
Magic and MJ. Good
Magic
start.
and MJ, and then give me Kareem.
All right, that's a nasty
Yeah,
5.
it's
That's
a good
nasty
5.
5. Okay, so I have Kobe and LeBron. I'm going to go Steph at my 1. I know. I wanted Steph so bad. And then at my 4, you know what? We're in Dallas. I'm going to go Dirk.
You go Dirk. Okay.
I'm going to go Dirk at my 4.
Okay. I need a shooter now. I really need a sharp shooter. I've got
There's
MJ. Pardon?
We're missing my favorite basketball player of all time.
Oh, okay. I've got MJ. I've got Magic and Kareem. I'm going to go with I need a shooter. Give me I think this is too dumb for a starting 5. No, I can't do that. Let's go with
Oh, Petey, you're going to hate yourself.
I know. I'm thinking of guys like the guys I'm thinking of like here. I'm thinking of, like I don't think Dwayne Wade belongs in this conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I'm thinking Dwayne Wade. I thought Ray Allen. I don't think Ray Allen belongs in this conversation.
You're missing a shooter.
I'm missing a shooter. You got Steph.
I can't believe I didn't take him.
I'll ask Josh. Larry Bird.
Josh, why are you in the chat?
I'll go
Come
Josh,
on,
Larry
Josh.
Bird.
I didn't think he was going to take it.
Yeah.
All right, yeah,
Well,
Larry
because
Bird.
it's like I want to get a balance of like older and younger guys.
Yeah.
All right.
So you're 6 man.
My 6 man.
So your starting 5 is Magic, Jordan, Larry, Kareem.
I think I've only picked 4.
Oh, maybe. All right, so
Yeah,
round out
yeah.
your starting 5.
So my number 5 now. I'm gonna go with. I need a center. Let's go with. See, I'm thinking like I don't think they're top 5, top 10. What about Tim Duncan?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I
that's
think
where
so.
I was going to go.
Yeah.
That's decent. That's decent.
Yeah.
All right, so PD's starting 5 is Magic, Jordan, Larry, Tim Duncan, and Kareem.
Yeah.
That's an elite.
That's elite.
And I got Curry, Kobe, LeBron, Dirk. My 5.
So this is just a battle of the decades here.
Give me Shaquille O'Neal.
I wish I kind of went. Oh, with Shaq and Kobe.
Shaq. Oh, I got
Yeah.
Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
With Curry. And then my 6 man, you know.
We'll
probably
get
not
another super chat, by the way, after this draft. We're going to get on out of here.
I'm going to go the greatest 6 man of all time. I'm going to go Manu Ginobili.
Manu. Okay.
Not a top 20 guy of all time, but give me Manu
Yeah.
Ginobili coming off the bench.
Okay, I like that. My 6 man to round out the draft, I will go with, first off, shout out Brian Scalabrine, all-timer. But I will go with, coming off the bench, give me, can I go recent? Like, can I go like someone playing right now? Can't do like a Luka, for example. Like, that's too soon for him to get picked in these kind of drafts. All right, let me just go with Ray Allen. Give me a 3-point
I like
sharpshooter. Yeah.
I like that.
Okay. Russell, appreciate you. Dennis Rodman, that's a good one too. Bill, Okeem Olajuwon. Yep. Wilt Chamberlain. Okay. If we don't get another super chat in the next 60 or so seconds, let's throw the super chat menu on. We're going to have to pack it up and get on out of here. I do hope you guys like the player comps, by the way, that we did. We're going to do that all off season long. Like, these pictures are just going to be saved. So if you super chat $50, we're going to add Michael Warnecki, and we're going to add Scorpion. So that's my homework when I get out of here.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so Scorpion, are you still in the chat? Let me know. I'll scroll back and see who you said. Otherwise, if we don't get another super chat in the next 60 or so seconds, we're going to have to get on out of here. You guys know Thursday is Patrick and I's favorite day of the week. It's definitely my favorite day of the week. It's now your favorite day. Now that the Vikings are not playing on Saturday or Sundays, you're down with us in the offseason mode, baby.
Off-season mode's here.
One of us. One of us. Prepare for free agent talk.
Oh, we're already in it.
Okay. That's our happy hour menu. We'll put 30 seconds on the clock. If you can't super chat, no worries. Never intended to be any sort of pressure or anything. You guys know I just love hanging back, kicking it with you guys, having a good time. Ty Man the Buckeye. Can't believe I hadn't said your name already. Let's go Browns, baby. Love it, Ty Man. Greasy Flight. Good to see you in the chat. Here we go. Justin Trimble, Ray Allen. That was my 6th man. I think that'd be a fun little spark plug 3-point shooter right there.
That.
10 seconds. If you don't get a super chat, it is Steelers Talk. I think Sperry has to film still. So that's coming into Studio F, which do not like to see happen. Okay, that is going to do it for us on today's show. I appreciate everyone for taking time out of your day, joining us every Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern. We're going to sign off. For my producer, Patrick Seaman, Matthew Peterson, bidding you guys, someone send a super chat in. Ty Man's always trying to stir the pot a little bit. I would love to see one fly in. Keith, later guys. Go Browns, F Pitt. I concur, Keith. Go Brownies indeed, F Pitt. Give me one winner this week. I'm going to go.
I got Giants over Eagles.
Okay, I'll take Eagles over Giants.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, I'll take Eagles over Giants. Okay, we'll see you guys later. Go Browns.